Wait, was this the one that died? Damn it. Why would you do that to me? I'm like, wait, this was not too, gosh damn it, wait. And now all the blood angels have depression. Me too. I'm right there with them. I'm like, hey, this faction don't seem too bad after all. Well, damn it. It ended before it even began. Okay. Okay, dokie. Okay, dokie. Okay, dokie. Why did Stitch come on the stream? I don't know. Just happens. Like I said, the only thing that I really know about Warhammer is that they're like little figures, and I've helped like a friend paint these little figures before, and that's like literally the extent of my knowledge. Like that's literally it. So, what is Warhammer 40,000? Timeline of 40k lore. Does anybody ever like refer to it as 40,000?
In the grim darkness of the 41st millennium exists the Empire of Man, a backwards carcass of an empire comprised of many devoted forces, gigantic robot knights, religious machine cultists, and incredibly heavily armored women, most likely with sweltering abs. And one must know what those abs taste like.
Amazing. Amazing. That was a good one. That was a good one.
The age of knowledge and enlightenment has ended. The age of darkness has begun.
Oh, okay. Hello, darkness, my old friend. Understood.
Roughly 60 million years ago, there existed aliens. And these aliens lived short, painful lives. They belonged to radiation-stricken worlds and often died of various cancers before the age of 30. These aliens, the Necron tier, looked up to the stars and found extreme beings of real power. Beings with the ability to create life. The old ones of the galaxy. They asked these old ones for help. Please cure us of our ailments. To which the old ones said, piss off. So the Necrons gathered together and did the sensible thing. They declared war upon these old beings and were promptly beaten into the dirt back to their short, painful lives. In the world of Warhammer, there is a hell. This hell is not like you and I know it. It's more of an afterlife, a place where dead souls end up. This place has many names: the Empyrean, the Sea of Souls, the Immaterium, and the Ether. But mostly, we just call it the Warp. While you and I know of hell as a place of horrors and punishment, the Warp isn't really that. Not in the beginning. It's energy, but the kind of energy formed from thought and soul, psychic energy, where the dead souls of people end up in a place that is impossible to understand. No laws of reality exist.
This honestly reminds me of something from like 2 days ago, chat, where I don't know like what happened or where it came from, or like, I don't know. Okay, I was like lying in bed and I was like, how long would it take for the Earth to realize that like our sun died? Like if that were ever to happen, like theoretically, I asked Google and Google said, yeah, 8 minutes and 20 seconds. And then I go like on this little like hole about how, you know, the world would turn dark and then it would turn cold and then everybody would die. Because like the planet would like stop like orbiting and like go off and blah blah blah. And I just had like a super like existential moment of like, then why would anybody want to be a vampire? Like, why would you want immortality if like one day the sun could effing die and you would experience that, you know? Like I feel like I would want to go before that.
Like, time is merely
It
a
was,
suggestion,
I don't know.
and it is not something that can be braved
I had to
easily.
take a lap
The
after
warp
that.
would be like sailing the ocean in a pirate movie. To jump from your ship would be certain death. To stay in the sea for too long on your boat could drive a man mad. And there are many dangerous things lurking in those depths.
Pirates.
Yet, the sea is not evil. It simply is. Mostly. There are more malevolent
there's some
beings
things in
in
the
those
sea.
waters, areas that you do not sail towards. This would be known as the realm of chaos. The realm of chaos exists in the warp as a special area led by 3 chaos gods. Khorne, the god of combat, murder, and slaughter, with a pile of skulls taken in his name. Tzeentch, god of change, mystery, and deceit, a confusing paradox of lies, schemes, and sorceries. And Nurgle, god of rot, pestilence, and Genshin impact. All things rot in the end. And Grandfather Nurgle is waiting for you with open arms. These gods ruled their respective realm in the warp, sending their many followers against each other in the great game.
I remembered because I remember people talking about it a lot. Like, I love that she has this tattoo. And I'm just like, what are they talking about? And it was like one of those random things that I just like kept in my mind. I was like, I never found out what they were talking about, and I never bothered to look it up.
To be the most powerful of all the gods. So the warp exists. Hell is real, parallel to our galaxy, with the realm of chaos and its gods fighting for control. But there are also gods of real space, gods of
all
the
these gods are like
world
big.
too. They're called Catan, and they eat stars.
That's a long game.
God stays in heaven because he too lives in fear of what he's created?
These star gods saw the plight of our poor Necrons here and how the old ones cast them aside and said, you know what? You guys want immortality? Oh, we will make it happen. We are the gods of the tangible, of real space. We can give you a cure.
Okay.
So then they ate all their souls.
Oh.
And turned them into robotic automaton, feasting on their souls and leaving a hollow shell of an intelligence left that is technically immortal. With the power of an entire species' souls, they turned their new robotic slaves on the old ones and hunted them to extinction. The Necron tier, now the soulless, undying Necrons, got their wish at the price of their souls.
Well, always after your souls.
Count the number of kind gods on an amputated hand. With time, the selfish star gods turned on each other, fighting one another for more chances at glory and power. With this, the leader of the Necrons, Zarek, the Silent King, the man who doomed his species when he accepted this deal, waited, planned, bide his time until he seized the perfect moment and turned his legions of undead citizens against the star gods. Gods cannot be killed, but they can be broken. So Zarek broke the star gods into thousands of pieces and locked them away in vaults, taking their free will away as they did to them, and sealed them away as basically Pokemon to be used as weapons in the future.
Who's that? It's Pikachu! It's the Void Dragon!
Zarek then, with his perfect memory, exiled himself for his sins, flying out to the darkness between galaxies to atone for what he had done. This entire situation, the genocide of the Old Ones and the rebellion of Zarek, will go down in history as the War in Heaven. It is the most brutal war the galaxy has ever seen and ever will see. This was a conflict that took an entire galaxy-spanning species and pitted them against gods that ate stars. The Necrons, rather crippled from, you know, the war in heaven, decided to go to sleep in gigantic tomb worlds on various planets until the upstart species of the galaxy died out. And
this must be
turns out when you have a war that lasts tens,
like a regular
hundreds of thousands of years and involves the genociding of multiple species, the old ones of the galaxy, and the consumption of souls from an entire race, the war.
Like, I'm just thinking of that one scene towards the end of Gurren Lagann, right? When you see them effing fighting in the galaxy and they're like still on Earth but like you can see them in the sky. And it's like, ah, terrifying.
Warp gets a little wacky. You know, if you had a kiddie pool and it was nice and calm, Korn is over there splashing about, so you don't really go in that direction. Nurgle has explosive diarrhea, so you don't really go in that direction either. But you can still kind of get in the pool. The pool's still fine. Turns out when you add a couple trillion souls to that kiddie pool, it'll make the waves a little more turbulent. And turns out a lot of them like to pick a side, Nurgle, Tzeentch, or Korn. So the once calmer warp, the once relaxing kiddie pool has now been bloated. A million years of war will certainly make Korn, god of murder and slaughter, more powerful. A million years of war will probably make Tzeentch, god of deception and change, a little more powerful. And good God, a million years of war will make Nurgle, god of decay, oh, just the tiniest bit more powerful.
So
now, entering that kiddie pool is no longer fun, it's dangerous. The warp is now a problem. Hell is resembling hell a lot closer to what we imagined it originally. The Sea of Souls and the Realm of Chaos are now intertwined. So who else to brave the galaxy than a species that won't need to deal with that?
Are those the Age of the Eldar?
The Eldar are space elves. They have a lot of the traits that you probably think of when you think of elves. Tall, slender, pointy ears, bit more androgynous looking, no matter what DeviantArt will tell you, and a bit stronger on the emotional side. The old ones, as I mentioned, could create life. And when they were getting, you know, absolutely bodied by the Catan and the Necrons, they made some new races to try to help them. One of them was the Eldar. It didn't save them, but they're here now anyway. Oh, and also the orcs, but they're busy right now.
Also the orcs. Damn.
The Eldar are a particularly psychically powerful race, so they were really adept at being able to handle the new turbulent warp of chaos and good at killing Necrons, hence why they went to sleep. Being psychically gifted is basically like being a wizard, but you get your wizard powers from hell. This is called being a psyker. And basically, if you want to do cool wizard shit like lightning from your hands or reading someone's mind, you can do that, but you siphon the energy to do that from the warp. Luckily, the Eldar are very good at handling this without too many negative effects because, you know, summoning power from the Sea of Souls with the new Chaos friends can be a bit of an issue. But Eldar are pretty good at it. And you see what's really cool and also awful about Warhammer is that most developed species travel long, faster than light distances by going through that warp. They create a tear in reality to unreality and move through it. Faster than light travel? Cringe. We go through hell itself to deliver your packages. For those of you who play...
I don't know about that. I feel like I would just want to take the long way around. Like, it's like, this is the Amazon one-day delivery, and you're like, I don't give a damn. I want the package today. Oh no! Don't worry, it's worse than he's describing. But shortcut, I don't know about that. Hello? So okay, wait. So there was all these big fat uglies that were the god-like entities, and they were all fighting each other. And then the races that like they're talking about now that go through are like byproducts that they made during that time, essentially. You really shouldn't go through it. Okay.
Minecraft. You know how the nether is like a pocket dimension? So moving 10 spaces in the nether is actually moving something like 1,000 in the real world. That's basically what warp travel is. Just much like in the nether, there are a lot of things that want to kill you. The Eldar found a way to do so in between realities. Not regular reality, not the warp, something else. A purgatory of sorts. A fabricated psychic realm that allowed them to travel without fearing the negative effects of the warp. The Eldar were the perfect fit for the new galaxy, and they took it with open arms and pointy ears. The empire of the Eldar spread everywhere, and it spread all the way until now. the 21st century. That's right, while you were watching NPC streams on TikTok, the space elves were ruling the galaxy, and they did so for quite a long period of time.
Rise of humanity.
The 21st century came and went. Humanity grew and grew, all under the nose of their elf overlords. At this time, humans advanced, your classic sci-fi style way. We began to expand, colonize our solar system, terraformed our planets, created new and more powerful machines and starships.
I can recognize this part.
Also known as Earth, but we call it Terra here, was here and existed between the 21st century all the way until the 15th millennia. Not much is known about this time, not much needs to be known. Humanity grew up, sought the stars. It's classic. Then came the years between 15,000 and 25,000, the age of technology, or to some, the dark age of technology. This is when humanity reached a new apex of technological understanding. When you think of sci-fi, there's a lot of things you can think of. Star Trek, maybe Star Wars style. You can go cyberpunk dystopian. The age of technology was deep sci-fi, like a scientific prowess that fringed on magic. This is also when the first ever psychers began showing up in humanity. Individuals with the genetic mutation to be able to access the warp, and then because of that, travel through it. Humanity was no longer constricted to their early ways of travel. With warp travel, they could go anywhere in the galaxy. They equipped ships with gigantic AI machines, with everything you would ever need to know about mankind, and sent them out on colony ships to expand their influence across the galaxy. And this was truly the golden age of humanity.
How did it go to crap?
And with every golden age, there is a fall. While the new human upstarts of the galaxy were reaching new levels of technology and prowess, the Eldar were engaging in debauchery. What happens when a species has everything? You can produce unlimited food out of nothing. Your need for farmers and workers, gone. You have dominated the stars and have created a fast travel system that doesn't rely on the dangers of the warp. You have nothing else to do. You have no struggles, no problems, and feel as if there is nowhere else to go. Well, you begin to experiment. The Eldar started harmless enough. You take a serious interest
Get a little bored,
in your culture, your arts, paintings, poems, plays. These are Eldar, elves. Remember? Their emotions are heightened, more powerful than us humans. So your plays get louder. They start to push on the limits of your hearing ability. Your music becomes different, more deranged. It pushes the boundaries of what is art. The visual spectacle of art becomes more bizarre, more delusional, more eccentric. And let's not forget a very important sense. Touch. Pornography is one thing. Brothels is another. What if they all mixed? What if your brothels were part of your art and music? And what if
someone in chat said, "You goon too hard?" And I was like, no. Yes. It's like, damn.
those became more deranged. The boundaries of debauchery were not just met, but shattered. Next thing you know, murder is commonplace and often mixed with the art, music, and sex. Pain is a common byproduct of entertainment. Whatever sensation you can have must be increased, must be enhanced, must be taken to the limits. The Eldar Empire slipped into a nightmarish realm of debauchery and excess, with the worst of it taking place in a city in the webway, a black market for these kinds of heinous acts known as Kamara. Some Eldar
dropped the
saw
safe,
the
sane, and
writing on the
consensual.
wall, saw what was happening to their species and how far they had slipped. So they boarded continent-sized.
Eldar could reincarnate, so no one cared about the murder at the time. I mean, even if you reincarnate, do you reincarnate with like all your memories intact?
Starships called craft worlds and left their empire, seeking a more enlightened, calmer existence among
I feel like that would still hurt though.
Those in Kamara pushed it to even greater heights, relishing the pain and torment they inflicted on those around them. All during this, the warp, the yin to the yang of the world, was fed by these emotions, by the psychic power of the Eldar, by the souls
I'm gonna say, what's
taken
going on in
these
hell?
depraved acts on a galactic scale. And just like that, Eldar ended. Slaanesh, the fourth chaos god, was birthed into existence and consumed the souls of 90% of the Eldar population. Those that fled were spared the worst of it, and those in the Webway and Kamara were able to stave off the pull of Slaanesh so long as they continued to commit horrid acts of torture and violence. But for the majority of the Eldar, their empire died with Slaanesh's birth. The new fourth chaos god, she who thirsts, the god of unspeakable excess of pleasure, pain, hedonism.
She, the fourth god, came in, and it was female oriented. A true Adam and Eve.
And perfection had been born. With the fall of the Eldar Empire came the ruin of humanity. Slaanesh's birth sent storms in the warp across the galaxy, making travel between star systems impossible. Coupled with a huge classic AI rebellion, as a staple in these sci-fi settings, humanity began to suffer the Age of Strife. Now, planets that relied on intergalactic travel were completely cut off. Long-range messages normally sent through the warp were snuffed out. If you were a planet that was great at mining stuff but couldn't get food, well, you know that movie about the rugby players in the mountains? Oh, and because of these insane warp storms and fluctuations, psykers began to appear among the human population a bit more often. Now, this initially had them
Like in a
hunted
good
down
way
as
or a
witches,
bad way?
because that's pretty common in this setting, but some deemed it right to protect them. Unfortunately for those people, psykers, because they open a gateway to the warp, don't really know how to use their powers well, and they kind of attract demons, who then force their way through the psyker as a conduit of sorts and begin to slaughter the population of your planet. The Age of Strife was a catastrophic period of time for humanity and set back their progress tenfold over the not one,
They didn't learn how to use their powers the entire time?
5,000-year period. During this time, the age of humanity that we know began to form. Worlds equipped with large mechs for agriculture began to equip them with weapons to defend from alien and demonic invaders. Over 5,000 years, this became a custom and tradition, dubbing them as night worlds, a feudal society of honor-bound knights in gigantic robots that uphold the chivalric code to defend their worlds and honor. A group of individuals on Mars, after radioactively bombing their planet to become inhospitable to human life, ran their entire lives underground on the few life support systems keeping them alive. Those technicians who could work on the machines and keep them operational were revered, and over 5,000 years went from skilled members of society to full-blown priests. The cult Mechanicus, or tech priests of Mars, formed in the ashes of the Red Planet with a religious fervor and doctrine on the cult of the machine god. And on Earth, or Terra, techno-barbarian tribes waged war across the planet in a Mad Max style of blood and gore, until finally, a mysterious man who lived in the shadows of Terra for millennia finally revealed himself to the populace. His name was the Emperor. He deemed himself the Emperor of mankind. Where did he come from? I don't know. Why is he 10 feet tall and the most powerful psyker
What do you mean you don't know?
mankind?
Do we really not know?
Why is he basically immortal? I don't know. Where'd Cotton Eye Joe go? Who knows? But he's here, and he isn't happy with all of you ripping up Terra. So he began the Unification Wars, where he and a very early version of the famous Space Marines, the Thunder Warriors, reunited Terra under a single banner. With blood. Then, after taking over Earth, he reunited the Thunder Warriors into the fucking dirt. This is where we get the Imperium of Man, also known as the Imperium. The new faction headed by the Emperor of Mankind, with a treaty signed with the cult Mechanicus on Mars to spread out and
from getting milk. I didn't even know I had a dad.
The catastrophic Age of Strife. But first, the Emperor is going to need some smaller versions of himself. 20 of them, 18 of them I meant gene-crafted sons of the strongest human to ever live. All of them possess
Crafted sons?
unparalleled strategic
Primarchs.
power, intelligence, formidable strength and size. A real
Define
powerful force to
crafted.
unite humanity and stop the chaos of the current galaxy. Speaking of chaos, you ever seen that image of that guy? It's like throwing the baby like a basketball. It's about what happened. The Chaos Gods intervened and grabbed the 18 Primarch gestation
But he didn't, like,
pods and
split
yeeted
himself.
them across the galaxy at a whim, everywhere they could possibly go. A galactic game of keep away. So the Emperor had to get them back. So begins the Great Crusade, a crusade across the stars to reunite not just humanity, but the Emperor with his fallen sons. The first to be found was Horus, one of the strongest and most noble sons. The Emperor carried with him a legion of newly crafted warriors with genetic material made from their Primarch father. These are the newly made Space Marines. For Horus, his were the Luna Wolves. And as the Emperor continued on his Great Crusade, he found more and more
really do
of his
multiply
sons,
like
reuniting
beetles.
them with their individual Space Marine legions. Leman Russ, the cunning hunter with the Space Wolves. Rogel Dorm, the Phalanx with the Imperial Fists. Angron, the Barbarian, the very angry
are
with
these the
his
factions?
World Eaters. Fulgrim, the Perfect with his Emperor's Children. And Jagatai Khan, the Swift, the Stoic, and his White Scars. Those were just some of the 18, and one by one his lost Primarch sons were returned to him, and their Space Marine legions returned to them. The Great Crusade saw humanity once again reconquer the stars, returning worlds of humanity back to the Imperium and killing any and all who stood against their noble crusade. But
Yo,
in
y'all
the
ever get
years
tired of
the
fighting?
31st millennia, treachery would break this all apart.
Horus Heresy.
Horus, the Emperor's most beloved and favored sons, named War Master for the Crusade, succumbed to the power of chaos and daddy issues, all because of that bastard Erebus. Yo, fuck Erebus. Slowly, Horus would become corrupted, turning the Emperor's sons against him. This begins the most pivotal moment in our story, and the one that has like 50 books written about it, the Horus Heresy.
Oh, damn.
9
Wait,
of the 18
really?
Primarchs turned against the Emperor, and the following years were a bloody battle for the throne of Terra. The Emperor originally was working on a special webway project,
old is
just
Warhammer?
like the Eldar, to make faster-than-light travel significantly easier and safer, really improve humanity to allow them to conquer the stars without the risk of the warp. Well, this big red idiot named Magnus kind of blew a hole into that, literally and figuratively. So Big E over there is stuck on a gigantic golden throne, holding back the oncoming rush of demons and powering the Astronomicon, basically a big North Star for people who are sailing in the warp to help them navigate. The Horus
Honestly, one of the funniest things about this to me right now is the fact that like we went from the big uglies fighting each other to like people multiplying and multiplying and multiplying and like constantly fighting each other. And like in the back of my mind, I'm just like, what happened to the big uglies? Are they like still fighting their own thing while we're like dealing with our shenanigans?
Heresy saw many loyalist and traitor legions pitted against each other in a bloody war until it reached Terra itself. Horus, unable to break through the lines and with time running out, made a gambit and opened his ship up to be boarded. The Emperor took this challenge, quickly allowing someone else to take control of the throne as he teleported his way onto Horus's flagship, the Vengeful Spirit. The Emperor, unable to truly kill his most beloved son, changed his mind right quick when Horus strangled the life out of his other son, Sanguinius.
Oh no!
I'm sure you've seen this image at some point. The Emperor then said, "I'm not gonna sugarcoat it," and proceeded to psychically blast
changed
Horus
his
into
mind.
complete oblivion, killing not only his body, but also his soul.
Oh, damn.
Horribly wounded from this duel, the Emperor is returned to the Golden Throne in order to keep the demons at bay and power the Astronomicon, because without it, humanity would be flying blind. There he sits, slowly dying from his wounds and the strain of powering the Golden Throne. The only thing keeping him alive is feeding upon the souls of 1,000 psychers every single day. This was 10,000 years ago. We are now in the 41st millennium, modern day. Warhammer.
Oh wait, is that what the
40,000.
Oh!
The Emperor remains
That made me
on
like,
his
wow!
throne. The Imperium is a rotting carcass of an empire, a fascist, xenophobic cult that worships the Emperor as a deity despite him never wanting to be seen as a god. Over the span of 1 million worlds, the ecclesiarchy, the church of the Emperor, is spread throughout. Inquisitors with unparalleled power
prologue. It
root
was crazy.
out any sign of heresy or lack of devotion to their god Emperor. The other half of the traitor legions move about as Chaos Space Marines, raiding and pillaging the Imperium, while the loyalist half does their best to keep the Empire alive. All throughout this,
That's a
they
long
must
time to be
endure
fighting.
orc invasions, Eldar trickery, the reawakening of the Necron race, and the Great Devourer, the newest tyrannid threat from the darkness between galaxies that has arrived to feast on their worlds.
Yeah.
The theme of Warhammer 40,000 is regression and intolerance. Every major faction in Warhammer has had an empire that spanned the galaxy only to be crushed back to a hollow shell of what they once were due to their own failings. Culture, the arts, personal freedom, religious tolerance, the simple possibility
just wanna be a
that
poet?
alien life might not want to kill us is considered heretical and is often met with a pistol to the head. There is no time for these things. All there is time for is worship of the God
I don't want
Emperor
that.
and a million wars to be fought. To be a human in the 41st millennia is 99% of the time to live a horrible existence, to be one of trillions of other humans across a million worlds throughout the galaxy. A galaxy where AI is outlawed, so humans are repurposed and lobotomized to become slaves. A place where lack of devotion is met with death. And if you even
just wanna
have
be an
devotion,
artist.
there's a good chance the threats to the galaxy, chaos, and aliens will kill you anyway. Warhammer is a world where you revel in being bad. There are protagonists, there are antagonists, but every faction is some shade of evil. Because playing the bad guys is always more fun. And my friend, you have a selection. So pick up that las gun, soldier. You and the other 3 million men and women in this single deployment on this single world in this single battle will now show them the might of the God Emperor. That weapon in your hands has killed 99% of the alien populations in this galaxy. Unfortunately for you, soldier, you're fighting the final 1%. May the Emperor be with us. Glory to the first man to die, for in the grim darkness of the far future, there is only war.
Damn! That is not what I expected going into this. Villain lover not is mildly interested. I'm like, wait a minute. Wait a minute. Wow.
Thank you, everyone. I hope I
Rip
have
and
helped
tear.
teach you about Warhammer. If you are a
I was
brand new
wondering.
person and you want to get a bit more
So
about
many
the
books.
world, there are multiple books that do a great job at showing off how the entire universe operates. For the most part, Warhammer
Are these all written by
is
the
a
same person?
setting, and often stories
like
are
a team?
told in that setting with a Warhammer coat of paint. Gaunt's Ghosts is Band of Brothers, but Warhammer. It's honestly one of my #1 recommendations for new people. Assassinorum Kingmaker is an assassin novel involving those night worlds. This is Mission Impossible, but Warhammer. Bloodlines is Blade Runner, but Warhammer. And the list goes on and
But
on.
Warhammer.
If I had to recommend a
Warhammer.
brand new novel for a first-time Warhammer enjoyer, these are the 4 I would recommend. Horus Rising, Caiaphas Cain, First and Only Gaunt's Ghosts, and Infinite and the Divine. They are all
When y'all said it was a
fantastic
rabbit hole, y'all
novels,
weren't
and they will get
kidding.
you acquainted with the world without needing to know too much. Thank you all so much for watching this video.
Wow. was wondering when the 40K would kick in. I thought it was gonna be like a number of people. And then the big time skip happened. And it was like, well, damn. That's crazy. We aren't even in 40K anymore. It's 42K. The way he was like, there's not really like a good guy. Because everybody's effing fighting each other. So, okay, the Space Marines. So it's Emperor, the Primarchs, which are like the sons, and then the Legions, which are the squads under each son. And so like they're his grandsons. Y'all said that there was like multiple Space Marines, but then the Space Marines would be under multiple legions. Okay. Because I was like, if there's multiple Space Marines, but then they're like, the Space Marines are like under Horus, how is there multiple? Unless it's like multiple grandkids under the one? Like can, like say like under Horus, can there be like 3 different ones? Or does each have like the one? Cloning was made. Who's in charge of the whole military? Each had the one. Huh. So then, when you're playing Warhammer, are you like in, or like you pick one of these legions, or are you picking like the races? Both. Yeah, I saw that there was like other people who looked completely different because they had like the Necrons and stuff. So you can be like completely separate from the Emperor's gang. We had regular humans who had weird tech and organs shoved into them and turned into super soldiers. Is there any like regular humans left? There's not, right? It didn't sound like it. Tons of regular humans? Oh. Ah. It must suck to be a regular human. They just die a lot. I'm like, wait. I don't know if I would want that. The fodder. Oh no. Your sweet 16 gift is enhanced puberty.